Hi everyone, Katarina here. Thank you so much for watching this video today. This card I'm sharing today is very Christmassy in theme, not so much in colors. These are not your traditional Christmas colors, but that's what I love about it the most. I adore how this card turned out. The stamp that I used to create this is the Elegant Bauble stamp from Chloe's Creative Cards, and this is part of her latest release. The sentiment stamp inside the card is Merry and Bright from Colorado Craft Company, and this was included in the latest Simple Cards and Paper Craft magazine. I am going to stamp my image out twice. I already done one, and this is the second one, coming in with my embossing body to remove any fingerprints and any oily marks on my cardstock. Now, using my Versamark sticky ink, I'm going to stamp this onto the cardstock just below that other image. By the way, this is very optional. I decided to make this a bit of a dimensional card, so I will be cutting out the elements on one of these stamped images, but you can just very easily make this a one-layer card. The embossing powder I'm going to be using is by Wow, the metallic gold rich regular embossing powder. This will create that gorgeous shine that you in a minute will see how we transform this very dull, very brown looking image into that golden goodness. I love heat embossing. I think it's just magical. It's one of my really favorite things to do with paper crafting. A bit of a cleanup there where there was stray powder here and there. So now I'm coming in with my Wow heat embossing tool, and this is a heat gun which has 2 speeds. I'm using the higher speed this time, so you can see as it melts that powder, it's turning into that gorgeous shiny gold image just like the one above it. I like to come back on the back of the cardstock as well, just to heat it from there too. I am making a DL sized card today, so one of these images I'm going to cut down to 3.5 by 7.5 inches, and I've cut it in a way so on the top above the image there's no white space left, so as if all those bead chains and pearl chains and tinsel and whatnot are all hanging from the top of the card. Now I'm applying a bit of double-sided tape to the back of this because it will be just easiest to adhere it to the next layer, which will be a mirror gold cardstock. I will come back to that a little bit later. As my next step, I want to add glitter to the 4 edges of this cardstock that I just cut down to 3.5 by 7.5, and I'm using Chloe's Creative Cards chisel tip glue pen, and also from Chloe's this glitter, which is the Chunky Crystallina. It just adds so much lovely sparkle to this cardstock. Clean up a little bit where I ran in with the glue a bit too much. And that's it. A camera is not really picking it up, but there's such lovely glitter in there. I will try to take some close-up pictures for the end of this video for you all to see all that gorgeous sparkle. On this second heat embossed image, I'm going to color in all those bubbles, and I'm going to be using the same colors I used on my first card. I took some photos to show you which colors of alcohol markers by Spectrum Noir I used to color in my images. For the yellows, I used some from their classic range, and these are the colors on the picture you can see. The rest of them were all tree blend markers. Here you can see the coral blend and the coral shades, which are the lighter and darker shades of same color. Bit of an orange blend. This is just really to add something a little bit darker here and there as accents. And for the blue, I used the ice blue blend. I think it's a gorgeous color. Something I never thought I would say before, but this is my favorite part of this card making. I love coloring. Even not that long ago, I was so terrified, and now I enjoy all the different mediums and all the different techniques. I am in love with coloring in stamped images. As for shading in here, I'm just applying my darker shades of each color onto the outer sides, on the 2 sides of the bubbles. And as I'm coming in towards the middle, I'm just lightening my shades. I'm using the same colors I used in my first card, only I'm changing them up a bit. So a bubble that was blue before will be coral or yellow now. So basically same colors, just on different bubbles. Now, my not so favorite part of this is for cutting these images out. Now, I like to separate all the images first of all, especially if they are this close to each other, because I just know that I would cut into something that I didn't mean to, and then I'd be angry and just not worth it. So this is for safety reasons. I like to separate them into single images, and then it is quite easy to go around these. These are not very detailed images as in terms of the outlines of them. So they are quite easy to cut, and because the embossing powder have raised those lines up, it's just nice. You can hold those scissors just at a little bit of an angle, kind of angling underneath that cardstock. So it's quite easy to do. What I like to do when I cut them out, I place them on top of black cardstock, just like this, and this will reveal any white edges that may have been still left in there. Now, cutting out these images, of course, is optional. You could just use this as a single panel on your card, as colored in as it was before I cut them apart, and it would still make a very beautiful single layer card. Now I'm just going to cut these all out of camera, and then I will come back. These are all cut out, and I applied foam tape to them all except that little circle on the side. That one just goes and go flat on against my card. Now, when I was making my first card, I didn't first intend to apply foam tape to them all, but then I decided to. I like them just more that way. But you can certainly leave them all flat, or some of them flat and some of them raised with the foam pads, and you can just use them all with foam pads like I done in here. There's so many ways you can personalize these. So I have applied my cardstock with some glue and added it against the gold mirror cardstock, and I'm just coming in with one of my yellows and just added them to those lovely stars in there. I'm using Chloe's chisel tip glue pen just to apply it to those stars, and this time I'm coming in with the fine crystalline and just adding them to those stars. Just a little bit of a bling. Be nice, I thought. Why not? So the next thing is my card base. The gold cardstock, by the way, measured 3 3/4 by 7 3/4, and this one was an 8 by 8 salmon color, coral color cardstock, which I scored down in the middle halfway at 4 inches, and this gave me my 4 by 8 card base. So I glued them all on top of each other. And now the last thing that's left to do with these baubles before applying them to the card, to add a little bit of a glitter to all those little toppers in there. So I'm just using my dry clear glue to do that, and this is the Peach Melba Sparklicious glitter from Chloe's Creative Cards. I think it just adds that lovely little yellow bling in there, which it really needed. I love how this turned out. So once this is all done, I'm going to tip my glitter back into the little pot, and I'm going to start adhering all these baubles on top of the other ones. This is really easy to line up. This gave me no bother at all. Just removing the backing of all the double-sided tapes and applying that to the card. Just like so. I love watching how this is coming together. It's just really such a lovely card. I really love the colors. So if you ever made Christmas cards that are not traditional Christmas colors, what colors did you use? I would love to know. So if you could leave me a comment below with that information, I would really love that. Thank you. The last thing that's left for me to do is to stamp my sentiment, which is going to be going onto the inside of the card. And this is a large sentiment from Colorado Craft Company, which came in the latest issue of Simply Cards and Paper Craft. And I think that's issue 248. So I used my embossing buddy because I will be heat embossing this again, stamping it out with my embossing ink. And this time I'm using the Rose Glints by Wow embossing powder, and this is such a lovely color. I really love it. I know it's meant to be a bit like rose goldish, but because it's translucent and I'm applying it against the white cardstock, it really has that corally kind of a color shine to it, which matches the color on the front of the card on those baubles just perfectly. So I'm heat setting it. It turns into lovely shiny wonder again. And I'm just going to glue this onto the inside of my card now. And by the way, the piece of cardstock I stamped my sentiment on measured 3 3/4 by 7 3/4, exactly the same as the gold cardstock on the front of my card. So these are the two gorgeous cards made using the stamps from Chloe's Creative Cards. The card on the bottom is the one that I made today, and the one on the top I made just a couple of days ago. I love how these turned out. And if you stay here for another little second, I will show you some close-up videos to show you all that lovely gorgeous sparkle. And here you should be able to pick up on all that gorgeous shine from the heat embossing of the gold melted powder, and also on the glitter on top of each bubble and on the edge of the card as well. I'm trying to go very slow in here, but it's very hard to give this back on camera. I promise you, in real life is so much nicer and sparklier. If you liked today's card and this tutorial, I would really appreciate if you would consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't yet done so. Also hit the notification bell so you will get notified anytime I upload new videos in the future. If you could give me the thumbs up or a comment below this video, I would just love it. I'll see you the next time. Bye!